They stand in the wilderness, gazing at a distant house. Suddenly, it feels very strange. Standing here, the house looks small, but inside it's vast, as if the world inside is his everything. Can't get out, feels endless. At midnight, exhausted Gilbert falls asleep as soon as he gets home. The next day, while using the bathroom, he finds Johnny still shivering in the bathtub. Gilbert quickly pulls him out, wraps him in a blanket, and keeps apologizing. His mother scolds him for not even handling such a small thing. Feeling guilty, he doesn't argue and keeps apologizing. His mother says apologies are useless, you need to do better. That day, Mrs. Kawa calls Gilbert over under the pretense of a delivery. Gilbert wants to end the relationship, but Mrs. Kawa asks if it's because of the girl's family. It's already exhausting her, and now there's another burden she can't shake off. She helplessly asks Mrs. Kawa why she chose him among all the men in town. Mrs. Kawa says because you'll always be here, you won't leave. It turns out she chose Gilbert not out of love, but because family and duty keep her here. That night, while the family watches TV, they receive news of Mr. Kawa's accidental drowning. The police say he drowned after a sudden heart stop, falling by the pool. It was just a 1-foot-deep kiddie pool. A friend thinks Mrs. Kawa did it for the insurance money. While they're talking, Becky comes over. It turns out Grandma's car parts have arrived. Once the car is fixed, they'll leave. Talking about it, they can't hide their disappointment. After installing the new parts, the engine still won't start. Gilbert can't hide his joy. At this moment, Becky and Johnny are playing by the pond. Since the bath incident, Johnny refuses to touch water, no matter how hard Becky tries. Always cautious, Gilbert stays on the shore. Becky uses reverse psychology to get him into the water. Only then does Gilbert relax and float in the water. Afterward, they lie on the grass to rest. Becky asks Gilbert what his dream is. Gilbert says he wants his family to live in a new house. I want Mom to dance, exercise, and lose weight. I want my sister not to be so tired. I want my little sister to grow up quickly. I want my brother to become smart. From start to finish, he never thought about himself, only his family. While they were talking, Johnny disappeared again. Watching the police cars whiz by, Gilbert knew Johnny had climbed the water tower again, and this time he made it to the top. By the time Gilbert drove over, Johnny had already been rescued by the police. This time, no matter how much Gilbert pleaded, the police, tired of it all, decided to take Johnny back for a lesson. After learning about the situation, the mother thought it over and decided to go to the police station herself. After 7 years, she stepped out of the house for the first time. The kids were surprised but then settled down. On the way, because of the mother's weight, the whole car tilted to one side. The mother stormed into the police station, ignoring the stares, angrily pounding the table to get her son back. Seeing her large figure, the sheriff reluctantly agreed. As they left the station, everyone stared at them. Their gazes were full of intensity, even the kids laughed, and some took pictures of the rare scene. Facing those judgmental looks, the family's dignity was trampled. On the way back to town, the family was somber. The mother finally understood the children's feelings of injustice and inferiority. After returning home, the mother became gloomy, losing her appetite even for her favorite foods. At this moment, some kids peeked at the mother through the window. The sister angrily threw food to break the window and chased them away. The mother's spirit became the talk of the town. However, Becky thought the mother was brave and wanted to visit her. Gilbert didn't want to talk about it and changed the subject, asking where she was headed next. Becky didn't answer but gently brushed aside her long hair. Their vague love finally cleared up at that moment. On the day of Mr. Carver's funeral, a burger truck came to town. After the funeral, Mrs. Carver went to the supermarket. Because of the rumors about her husband's murder, but because this place didn't have the life she wanted, she asked Gilbert, "What are your plans for the future? Maybe you haven't even thought about it. Poor you, taking care of everyone around you, but never thinking about what kind of life you want." These words hit Gilbert like a wake-up call. She began to envy Becky's carefree life. At that moment, Becky also came to the supermarket to shop. Mrs. Carver saw the two of them and seemed to understand everything. She gently kissed Gilbert's cheek, then spoke to Becky. As soon as the supplies were ready, it started pouring rain. Gilbert helped deliver the goods to the camp. At that moment, Grandma fixed the car. Hearing the engine sound, they knew they had to part. Then they hugged tightly. This might be their last tender moment, but soon the car stalled again. They looked at each other and started laughing happily. On the day the burger truck opened, Becky told Gilbert the car was fixed, and they would leave tomorrow. At that moment, Gilbert suddenly realized she was a beacon from another world, a girl wandering the earth. While he felt bound, his life was constrained. For this farewell, she no longer had the strength to hold on. Even when asked if she wanted to attend Annie's birthday tomorrow, Gilbert's response was weak. "Go or not, it's up to you." On the eve of the birthday, Gilbert chased Annie to give her a bath, but accidentally knocked over the cake her sister made. It was something she worked on all day, and there wasn't time to make another. Her sister sat on the floor, breaking down in tears. Helpless, Gilbert stepped into a competitor's supermarket for the first time. The space inside was vast, with shelves full of goods. She was so uneasy she didn't know where to look. But awkwardly, as she left the store, she ran into her own supermarket's boss. He had once vowed to the boss never to set foot in that store, yet here he was, face slapped. Back home, he put the cake in the fridge and warned Annie not to sneak a bite. But in a blink, his brother's messy mouth was already covered in cream. This was the last straw for the camel. He grabbed his brother to bathe him, even carrying him to the bathroom. Seeing his brother still unwilling, he forcibly put him in the tub and started washing. In his brother's desperate struggle, he pulled his hair. At that moment, all the long-suppressed anger turned into fists, hitting Annie's face. For himself, and for his brother's unfair fate, he resented this family, his mother, and was furious at his own helplessness. So much so that he couldn't face the hurt and helpless gaze. He rushed out the door, started the car, and sped away. He wanted to escape here forever, escape this family, as if leaving here would bring the dawn of hope. Yet the pain in his heart was a cage he couldn't break free from. He hadn't gone far from the town before he stopped again. At the moment he turned the car around, he had already made his choice, as he passed the RV camp. At some point, my brother also arrived here. Becky gently treated his wounds and then took him to play by the pond. With Becky's patient encouragement, Johnny overcame his fear of water and jumped right into the pond. Seeing this, Gilbert smiled. After sending Johnny home, Becky found Gilbert hiding behind a tree. He was regretful. And guilty, saying he shouldn't have hit his brother. The usual tough guy cried like a child. He turned to leave but stopped after a few steps, hugging Becky and saying he had nowhere to go. That kind of heartache is perhaps only understood by those enslaved by life. That night, they talked all night. Gilbert revealed that his father committed suicide due to depression. With Becky's patient comfort, he resolved years of inner conflict. After all, the dead are gone, and the living must continue. The next day, they woke up by the lake, embracing. It was Yanni's birthday, and they invited many friends over. Seeing Gilbert return from outside, Yanni quickly hid. Not seeing his brother, Gilbert had to ask his sister where he went. His sister, holding a grudge, initially didn't want to respond. But when she saw her brother in the tree, she smiled. She knew her brother had forgiven Gilbert. Seeing his sister smile, Gilbert understood. He loudly asked if anyone had seen his brother while anxiously searching under the tree. When he saw Yanni, she had already hugged her brother. The two brothers playfully rolled on the ground, finally reconciling. Their mother didn't dare leave her room, afraid of embarrassing her children and ruining the joyful birthday atmosphere. She called Gilbert into the room to talk. It was then that Gilbert truly understood the impact of his father's departure on his mother, turning her from a beautiful woman into this state. She said, "I didn't want to become like this either. Make you ashamed of me, but I can't handle the sudden departure of loved ones, just like you last night." At that moment, Gilbert finally understood and forgave his mother. Before leaving, Becky came with a birthday gift to say goodbye. Gilbert planned to introduce Becky to his mother. At the moment when the two, both having experienced painful pasts, exchanged glances, the mother said, "I wasn't like this before." Becky replied, "I wasn't like this either." They exchanged smiles, signifying mutual acceptance. At that moment, the mother also found rebirth. Yanni's birthday party was a success. After hugging, they said goodbye. But Becky said it wasn't goodbye. It was see you later. After the party, the mother finally left the couch and went upstairs. Under his family's gaze, he climbed to the second floor, breathless. His mother, on the long mist bed, told Gilbert, "You're my hero in shining armor. Please, don't disappear." It sounded like praise for years of endurance, or a final farewell. Sure enough, when Annie came up, their mother lay peacefully, never to rise again. Though Gilbert was a bit off, Annie understood. The family gathered sadly, discussing how to handle her body. They could invite many to help or use a crane. But either way, it would attract onlookers. Their deceased mother wouldn't want to be a laughingstock. Gilbert went to the basement and after a rage, made a big decision. The siblings spent the night moving furniture outside. After hugging his brother, Gilbert lit a match, tossed it on the gasoline-soaked floor, giving their mother a dignified cremation. All hidden pain turned to ashes with the fire. The children quietly watched their mother leave, taking memories of their father to heaven. The flames lit the sky, now different, signaling a new life. A year later, the sister found a good job. The younger sister transferred to a boarding school, and the brother was about to turn 19. On this day, they welcomed Becky's caravan again. This time, he had no ties and bravely boarded Becky's van, setting off into the unknown. A Different Sky was directed by Lasse Hallström, starring Johnny Depp and Leonardo DiCaprio, released in 1993. As a family drama. In the film, Gilbert seems like a young man in his 20s, but Johnny Depp, born in 1963, was actually 30, not so young. Leonardo, born in 1974, was just 19, as in the film. It's undeniable that Leonardo's image in the film is vastly different from later impressions. But his outstanding performance as a character with intellectual disabilities earned him a nomination for the 66th Academy Awards for Best Supporting Actor. In the film, Gilbert's life is very unfortunate, with a mother mocked for her obesity and a troublesome. A young child doesn't know themselves. His sister daily repeats the same days with trivial matters, though. Every day is tiring, but Gilbert seems accustomed and doesn't planned to make any changes until Becky showed up, making him think of making a change. If he had more patience, maybe his brother could enter the water. If she had more encouragement, maybe her mom could start exercising. But right now, it's just a thought, no action. Sometimes her inaction doesn't mean it won't happen. Change. When we look back, many things have already happened. Mr. Kawa's passing, Kawa, the wife's departure, the new supermarket opens, old supermarket's customers, fewer and fewer, and those who come. The town's hamburgers, the lively food truck, Nick's fear of water, jumping back into the water, mother leaving after 7 years of squatting. Sofa climbs to the second floor. All of this, everything is happening quietly. Changes are happening, maybe due to Becky, maybe mother's passing. No more ties. Gilbert, finally willing to make a change, he set the house on fire, burning away the unbearable past. Got into Becky's car, starting a new life. Sometimes our lives are like this. If we can make a few more changes, maybe we can see a different sky. Alright, today's movie ends here. Feel free to like, comment and share. Looking forward to meeting you next time.